The Pere Marquette River, located on Michigan's western shoreline, was Michigan's very first national wild and scenic designated river, spanning 66 miles and the only river in the Great Lakes Basin without a single dam. In late September, I had the opportunity to paddle the entirety of this amazing river for a 3-day and 2-night kayak camping adventure. On warm weather weekends, it can be a very busy river, with many kayakers and canoeists enjoying its clear, clean waters, and with being recognized as a world-class trout, steelhead, and salmon fishery, it's an angler's paradise. For this kayak camping adventure, I brought my hammock and I brought my tent, and cooked amazing food over the fire each day that was fresh from our Ohio farm. And one of the best parts of this paddle was being able to end the trip by exiting the river into the beautiful clear waters of Lake Michigan. It was an incredible kayaking trip that was the highlight of my 2024 paddling season. Thanks for joining me on this Pere Marquette kayak camping adventure that starts right now. Gorgeous. Oh, I want a big salmon. I saw my first salmon already. Man, there's some tight passages through here. Almost identical to the Little Manistee River so far. Very quiet. It's so nice to be on a river and not have to listen to road noise. Pretty good. How are you? A beautiful day to be out fishing.
Camping?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the whole river.
Are you really?
3 nights.
Good for you.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. Today I am on the beautiful Pere Marquette River in northwest Michigan. This is an approximately 66-mile-long river that begins near Baldwin and exits into Lake Michigan at Ludington. It is a wild and scenic designated river. It is a very popular trout and salmon fishing river. And I have 4 days and 3 nights to paddle myself down this river all the way out into the beautiful clear waters of Lake Michigan. I am really looking forward to this Pere Michigan adventure, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. Oh no, we have our first complete river blockage. And I'm only 3/4, about 1 mile in. Dang. This is a bad one. I'm actually gonna try to sneak through here carefully. The water's really slow right here because of all the debris slowing it down. I'm gonna come right up to this log here. Obviously I gotta go up and over this, but it's not an unsafe, sketchy place because the water's not too fast right here. It's not gonna tip me over or anything. The biggest problem is maneuvering through all this with all the weight I have. I actually might go back the other way. I might be able to get underneath that trunk. If I go back around over there, I might be able to get underneath that trunk. I'm not sure. Either way, I better put the camera away. I don't want to knock my mic off or the GoPro with the media mod on it. So today is September 14th, and we are in the middle of the salmon run. I have seen a few already, and this is also a very popular trout fishing river. I've already passed several fishermen, and the further I get downriver, I will be seeing many more fishermen. There's not a lot of fishing up here in the upper portions of the river near Baldwin, but the further I get down as the river widens and deepens, there'll be fishing charters down there. Lots of people out fishing in the river, drift boats. It's going to be getting a lot more busy downriver. But up here, it's very peaceful, scenic, very reminiscent of the Little Manistee. I almost can't tell the difference. Very similar. Lots of twists and turns. I've had to already navigate through one nasty blowdown, but I think from here on down I should be okay because that blowdown was in between Forks access where I put in and the M37 bridge. Most of the liveries put in below or at M37 and below. So this portion of the river should be maintained pretty well. This is the M37 put in. And as you can probably hear, M37 just ahead here. I picked up some Subway on the way here. I'm having a lot of trouble getting it eaten because there's so many twists and turns in this river. You gotta stay on your toes. You'll get sucked into the bank. I probably should mention that the temperatures this week are going to be 78 to 82 for the highs while I'm out here on the river. This is Saturday, September 14th. And I'll be exiting the river sometime Tuesday afternoon if things go according to plan. And the lows are 54 to 61, so very mild temperatures at night and very warm during the day. So perfect time to be out on the water, enjoying the end of summer, the beginning of fall, which is just around the corner. I am noticing some leaf color change here, just barely. Another week or two, it'll probably be beautiful out here with lots of different colors and foliage. A lot of private property on my left, but I know we have plenty of state and federal land on my right. So my plans for day one are to make it a minimum of 6 miles, river miles, to Gleasons Landing. But I have a feeling I'm going to get there a little early, and I'll probably head towards Bowman's Landing after that. That's about 11 or 12 miles, probably closer to 12. That might be pushing it just a little bit. Most likely I'm going to end up stealth camping along the bank somewhere, wherever I can find a place that's suitable. But first, coming up here anytime in the next mile or two is clay banks. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Doing any good today?
No, they're a little scarce today.
Are they?
Yeah.
You think the warm weather affects it a little bit?
A little bit. I mean, yesterday they were thick. It's not much different.
Yeah. Huh. That's strange.
Oh, yeah.
How's it going?
Good, you?
Pretty good.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there.
Oh, that's all right. I'll go behind you. Sorry to interrupt your fishing. Hello. Salmon or trout?
I'm going trout.
Nice. Well, already I'm noticing that the Pere Marquette River is busier than the Little Manistee, at least in the northern sections, because I have a whole pile of canoers in front of me. 3 or 4, I can't tell. They're staying ahead of me, but I can see them and hear them around every turn. And I've already passed, I bet you, a dozen fishermen. But this is Saturday. I bet it's going to be busy again tomorrow, but I bet Monday and Tuesday it's going to be a lot less crowded.
Oh! I just got a helper from us. Dude, pull me off.
You found the only rock in the whole river. What's your dog's name?
Kona.
Kona.
Yeah.
Hey, Kona. Hey, Kona. Hi, Kona. So she just rides back there the whole way?
Yeah. Yep.
That is so cool.
Yeah. She knows her spot. I told her to kennel up.
Yeah.
Sit there and we're ready to go. Hey!
This river's like party central. They love his dog. You guys are gonna be on YouTube.
Let's go!
Man, when they say this is a popular river on the weekends, I had no idea. I have seen numerous massive salmon. I'm assuming they're king salmon. If they're not, correct me in the comments, but there went another one. I mean, they're huge. They're like almost 30 inches, if I had to guess, darting through the water. So much faster than I remember from the Little Manistee 2 years ago. I saw more of them in the Little Manistee, but the ones I'm seeing here seem to be faster, like a dart through the water. So maybe it's because it's a little earlier in the season. They're still healthier. They haven't, maybe they haven't spawned yet. Maybe they're still working on that. And, after they spawn, they finally die off. So I think on the Little Manistee, they had already spawned and they were starting to get lethargic and die, because I did see like 2 or 3 dead ones during my through paddle. But man, these are strong, healthy, fast salmon. Green Cottage Landing. So the Green Cottage Landing was approximately 5¼ miles downriver from Forks access where I started. Next up should be Gleasons, here in about a mile or so. This river is a lot busier than I expected. I think I've passed close to 30 fishermen already. Probably 3 or 4 drift boats with fishermen, and probably 30 kayaks. Busy day out here. But what else would you expect on a Saturday afternoon when it's 80 out? Hello. I can see why this river is so popular. It is gorgeous. Hey, my first dead king salmon of the trip. Check it out. You can see how huge those things are. Man, it's a beast. Thought I'd give you a quick little update on my progress. I'm 8 miles in, and for the last 3, and for the next 5, I'm guessing, I'm in a rod and gun club, private property on both sides. And I kid you not, I've seen 70 fishermen out here, and here's 2 more right now. They're around every corner. So when I get to Gleasons, I'll be out of this private property, this rod and gun club, and then I'll be in, I don't know if it's state ground or Manistee National Forest. It's one or the other. But it shows it on Onyx. I have the Onyx Backcountry app, and it shows you private property, their names, who owns the property, and where all the federal and state property is. So I can find a place to camp. I might get out and stretch at Gleasons. We'll take a look at it. I'll show you around a little bit. Maybe use the restroom, get some water if they have it. And then we'll get back on the river and keep on floating for a couple hours until we find a good stealth site. Finally, some peace and quiet. I can barely hear the gunshots now. And I've actually went around a few turns with no fishermen. I think we're getting pretty close to Suttons Landing, and I'm looking forward to that, because I think it's going to be much quieter after that, especially on a late Saturday afternoon. I can still hear the gunshots off in the distance, but this is far better. These are the first waterfowl I've seen on this river today. I don't know if you can see those real easy or not. 5 ducks right there. Finally, for the very first time since I've been out here, it's 4 o'clock, about 9.75 miles in, and there is no sound other than nature. I don't hear cars, guns, or people fishing. Oh, this is wonderful. The peace and solitude I've been waiting for. It's amazing. I hope it's like this for miles and miles. All right, we have made it to Suttons Landing. Very nice. Next landing, 1 hour. Pretty nice looking camping area. Gleasons Landing Campground, $24 per night. $90 for a group site with up to 20 people. And this is Manistee National Forest. Well, I don't intend to stay here. I'm going to keep floating downriver a couple miles, maybe even a couple hours. And now that we're in Manistee National Forest, I'm pretty confident I'll be able to find a place along the bank somewhere. Getting ready to go under the Bowman Bridge. About 13.25 miles downriver from Forks. Access is Bowman Bridge Campground. Was it cold?
A little bit. Felt nice though.
Yeah, I bet. All right, now that we're past Bowman Bridge Landing and Campground, I decided to get my phone out and look at Onyx Hunt app, and it looks like on my river right is Manistee National Forest for quite some time. So even though it's only like 5:15, I don't want to be looking for a campsite at 7:30 or 8 o'clock because it's going to start getting dark quickly after that. So we are on the hunt for a campsite currently. So what I'm looking for is something with easy access to land out of the water. Oh, we got some ducks. I mean, it's doable right here. That's not very pretty. I'm looking for a good place to hang my hammock. An established stealth campsite would be ideal. But I'm mainly just looking for something that's easy to get off the water, a place I can hang my hammock, something's gonna have good firewood for my fire to cook dinner. Look at the log in front of you. Tame turtles. They aren't going in. I can't believe it. Does this one turtle have something on its back? What is that? Another little baby turtle on its back. Check that out. I have never seen that. Huh. The problem I'm having with finding camp is this steep, burly, grassy bank everywhere on both sides. Not conducive for pulling out and setting up camp. And when I have found something that maybe I could have gotten up, it was like 3 foot deep, right up to the bank. So we're still looking. Starting to get a little worried though. I mean, I'm glad it's only 5:30, but I would like to be at camp now. You know, even though I'm having trouble finding a campsite, it doesn't bother me. This is my favorite part of backpacking and kayak camping, is looking for, finding, and setting up a camp. I don't like to do it when I'm desperate, and I'm not to that point yet at all. Oh. I mean, I'm just looking for every possibility. Man, it's just deep over there though. We'll find something. Still got 2 solid hours of daylight. But this doesn't bother me. I enjoy it. But it's definitely a little bit of a struggle on this river so far. Oh, there went a giant salmon. Glad to know they're still around here. Maybe I'll do some fishing. Definitely not the prettiest campsite, but it's gonna have to do, and I'll explain why here in a minute. That'll keep those pesky mosquitoes away. Man, they were getting bad. I had to put some Sawyer Picardin on, and I even sprayed some DEET off on my ankles. Man, they were nailing me. Whew. So the reason I set up here and didn't continue on down, it's almost 6 o'clock. 6:20 now, so yeah, I pulled in here about 6 o'clock. I was really tempted to go on down, but in about a mile or two, I leave Manistee National Forest and enter private property again. And I didn't want to risk not finding anything in the next 2 miles. So this is better than nothing. Hey, it's Riverside. You can't beat that. And I found a pair of trees to put my hammock between. Have a fire right on the bank of the river. We're gonna cook some good food tonight. The setting, the scenery is not the greatest, but what are you gonna do? I'll take it. I'll take it to not be in desperation mode on the river, looking for a place to camp right before dark. I think I'm gonna save all my freeze-dried meals for later on. And tonight I have steak and sweet corn. Good old standby first night meal. Get it out of the way while it's still fresh and cold inside the cooler. So a few other items that I brought with me to cook in case you're here just for the riverside kayak camping cooking. I already mentioned tonight's gonna be steak and sweet corn, I think. I might even cook up my butternut squash. I brought butter and maple syrup to go with my butternut squash. I brought some peaches to make a peach hot pocket dessert. So I have some like crescent roll dough, and I'm gonna fry it in my pan, and I'm gonna boil up some pureed peaches with a little bit of water, sugar, and cornstarch to make like a compote, and put it inside this crescent roll dough and make like a kind of like a hot pocket, hot piece of pie. So it worked out great for my raspberry form of it on the Mad River, and I wanted to do it on the last Mad River trip, but I ran out of butter and wasn't able to cook the dough. So I brought a whole stick with me this time. Hopefully I won't run out. Other meals, I have eggs and potatoes and peppers and onions for breakfast one day. And what else? A whole bunch of freeze-dried meals just in case, you know, something went wrong and I wasn't able to get a fire going, or, you know, whatever else could happen. You know, I always bring freeze-dried meals as a backup just in case I can't cook. So yeah, we got some good food to cook here over the next couple days, but right now, let's get the steak and sweet corn going. Oh, I just remembered a few other things. I brought some cauliflower. Maybe I'll saute that up tonight and save the butternut for another night. The butternut's gonna take a little while to cook. And of course, farm fresh, harvested yesterday cantaloupe. One of the last ones of the season. Our cantaloupe harvest has ended, but I walked through the field and found one last little guy that wasn't bad yet. And he smells good. It's gonna be amazing to eat for breakfast tomorrow morning. I think I'm gonna have some cauliflower first, kind of as a little pre-steak appetizer. And then we'll finish off with the corn. So we're gonna saute this up first. I'm gonna try to make them kind of small so they'll cook quickly. I'm just gonna saute them up with butter, sprinkle a little salt, pepper, garlic, paprika, and chili powder on them. Yow. Very hot. Start getting this corn cooking along the edge here. All right, I'd say they're about done. Time to add the extra flavor. All right, small pinch of salt. I forgot to reload my salt before I left. I'm getting low. A little pepper. Looks like I got plenty of pepper. Ooh, some garlic. And paprika. And for good measure, we're going to add a pinch of chili powder. What the heck, I got it. Let's try it. Get it all coated well. There it is. Looks fantastic if you ask me. All right, let's try it out. Adding all those spices really helped. That was amazing. Well, I'm gonna enjoy this for a few minutes. Looks like we got plenty of coals there. Ready to cook up the steak next. And the sweet corn's almost ready too. These darn mosquitoes. They haven't been bothering me for a while. Now they're back. Man, it's hot and muggy. Gee, Christmas. I might go wash off in the river. I'm burning up sitting next to this hot fire. All right, for the main course, a nice juicy ribeye. That'll put a nice sear on it. Corn's done. Let that set aside and cool off a little bit. Oh buddy, she's just about done. Cooked to perfection. If you're new to my channel, you're probably noticing that I'm eating on a Frisbee. I love my Frisbee plate. Holds everything in. Don't have to worry about spilling anything off the sides. Just scrub it up in the river when you're done. All right, let's give this bad boy a taste. I'd like to put a touch more salt on it. Maybe I will, but I gotta be careful. I don't want to run out. I got 2 or 3 more days out here. All right, I've decided to do something different with the corn. I don't feel like rubbing my butter stick on here to butter it. So I'm gonna husk it. I'm gonna cut it off into my Frisbee plate, dump it in my frying pan, and just fry it with a little bit of butter and no salt and pepper, just some paprika. Well, maybe some pepper, paprika and chili powder. I think it'll be really good. If I had known I was gonna do it this way earlier, I just would have cut it off in the cob in the first place. So it won't take long to cook because it's already cooked. We just want to sizzle it up a little bit and throw some spices on there. Actually, since it's already cooked and it already tastes amazing by itself, I'm not going to throw it back in the pan. I'm just going to doctor it up right here on the plate. A little bit of pepper, chili powder. This is what I had for my Mexican street corn. The chili powder adds a really unique tasting element to it. And a dash of paprika. No salt. It doesn't really need it. This sweet corn is so sweet. This late season stuff is very sweet. All right. Definitely got my share of veggies tonight between the corn and the cauliflower, that's for sure. Not too bad. A little bit of butter and salt would have made it exceptional. But it's good enough as is. Beautiful scenery to look at while I'm eating dinner. And it's so quiet. Only thing I can hear is my chewing. I decided to throw a few more pieces of wood on there. Well, I was going to cook the corn in a skillet, but it can smoke all at once because that helps deter the mosquitoes. Well, just about done with my corn. As soon as I finish, I'm gonna tidy up a few things, organize a few things, and then I think I'm gonna get in the river and wash off because I was so sweaty earlier with Picardin and DEET on me. I just want to get it washed off. I think I'll feel so much better. I got a towel with me, so I'm gonna wash off, get dried off, and I'm probably gonna hit the sack. It's about 7:45. The sun has went down below the tree line. The days are getting shorter. I think that was good enough. All right. It's only 8 o'clock, but I'm hitting the sack. I've been up since 3:30 this morning. I'm bushed. I'll see you guys in the morning. Time for some cantaloupe. I hope it's a good one. We're gonna find out right now. Wow. It's a good one. I would say an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. It's excellent. What a perfect morning. Feels like it's about 55 degrees. No breeze. The sun's coming up. It's going to be a clear blue sky. I mean, you couldn't ask for better weather for floating down the Pere Marquette. On the menu for breakfast, after I finish up the rest of my cantaloupe, I got a candy onion, 3 red potatoes, a jalapeno, and a red bell pepper. This is all from our fields, except the 3 red potatoes. I don't grow red potatoes. Try to use the butter sparingly because I know I'm going to need a lot to fry up my peach hot pockets. I tried to make me a little stand with some fresher wood on top of some bigger wood that has some coals burning well underneath. The other good thing about eating this cantaloupe this morning is that's a lot of bulk and weight to keep carrying my kayak. I'll be glad to have that out of the way. All right, we're ready for the eggs. I added a little bit of pepper, chili powder, and paprika already. All right, homemade breakfast skillet is served. Dude, what I should have brought is a little bit of a Tabasco sauce or a Red Hot or some ketchup. That'd have been really good. Oh man, you can't beat a breakfast skillet cooked over the fire like that. So I think to doctor this last half up, I'm gonna add some maple syrup that my brother makes from the trees on our farm. I think this is going to give it a little sweet, savory flavor. And we'll save the rest for our butternut squash. Oh yeah, I really like the way that tastes. Man, the sun is out in full force. It's going to be a hot one. It's supposed to be real close to 80 degrees again today. I'm boiling some water in that dirty pan to get all those crusties cleaned out of there, so it'll be ready to go for the next time. And we're off for day 2 on the Pere Marquette. Hoping to put in a big day of miles today. At least 20, maybe 25. I didn't get out of camp till 9:30, but that's all right. I'm not in any race today. I'm out here to enjoy myself, take my time, relax, enjoy camp and cooking. But I'm looking forward to what the river has to offer today. It's going to be a good day. So a few things of interest that we're going to be passing today. First up, Rainbow Rapids. It's the only Class 1, Class 2, potentially Class 2, but it's not going to be today because the water's down quite a bit. But it could be like a Rocky Garden Class 1 today. From what I've read and people I've talked to, it should be no problem going through. And then after that, we have Sulack Campground. That's going to be too soon for me to stop. After that one, we have Elk Canoe Campground, which is just a mile or two past Sulack. And then after that, a couple more miles, we have Logmark Rest Stop Canoe and Fishing Landing, which also has camping. So that might be where I stop tonight. We'll see how long it takes me to get there. The river has definitely widened and become slightly deeper and is getting slower. I know it's going to continue to get worse or more like that as we go downstream. This section of river is so windy that I am actually going back the direction I just came from towards camp. A complete hairpin turn right here. But boy, oh boy, is it shaping up to be a gorgeous day on the river. Man. Peace and quiet. Serenity. Starting to see a lot more salmon fishermen out again. Morning. We are currently out of Manistee National Forest, and we're up here in a private property section for a couple miles, hence all the fishermen. This is a cool bridge. I've been enjoying this faster, shallower water. This is fun stuff. Less than 1 mile to Rainbow Rapids. I'm looking forward to seeing it, but at the same time, I'm just a little bit intimidated because I don't know what to expect. I have a feeling I'm going to be able to navigate my way through it no problem, but I'm sure I can portage around it if need be. I hear it coming. Almost exactly 21 miles downstream from Forks Access. It doesn't look that bad, but I think I'm going to pull over right here at these rocks and scout out my line before I take off into it. All right, here we go. I don't think it looks too bad. No problem. Got a little splash up. Not much. And just like that, we are through Rainbow Rapids. All right, we're here at Sulack Landing. A payday. So this is Sulack Landing. Little parking area up here and looks like a vault toilet. Pretty easy takeout. Here's the actual ramp.
I gotta get to actually fit in there.
Crunchy wasabi peas. So back there at Sulack Landing, I was reading a little bit of the marquee sign, and I learned that the Pere Marquette River became a wild and scenic designated river in 1978. The very first one in Michigan, actually. And it's the longest free-flowing, no impoundments, no dams, unregulated water in the Lower Peninsula at 66 miles from Bowman Bridge all the way to Lake Michigan. And furthermore, I also learned that there is a 4-beer limit per person on the Pere Marquette and the Pine Rivers. So I was just talking with a couple fishermen back there, and I realized that I've been saying Sulack. It's Sulack. Sulack or Sulack. Man, now I can't remember. But it's not Sulack. So, yeah, I'm sure the locals know what they're talking about. I was just looking at the mileage, and I'm only like 6 miles or less to Logmark, rest, canoe rest stop, landing, whatever it is. I'm only 11.5 miles in right now, so that would only put me at 17.5 for the day. So I'm going to have to continue on past that, I'm pretty sure. It's going to have to take the perfect campsite, full cell service. I mean, it's going to have to take a lot to get me to stop at only 17.5 miles for the day. Hello. Does the music make the fish bite?
We're hoping. We're trying to make them have a little party.
All right. Good luck. We are currently passing the Elk Canoe Campground right here on my river left. Didn't really see an access spot. Maybe back there. Wasn't much. I was talking to this fisherman and I floated right by it. I wanted to get out and check it out. Oh well. We're not stopping here anyway, but I did want to give you a look at it if I was able to. Looks like you got a nice one.
Might not be hooked real good.
Uh-oh.
Last one I let up some pressure, he's gone.
Does he feel like a big one?
I've seen it jump a couple times.
Yeah, I saw it jump.
Huge and nice and green. Very
Yeah, I'm going to sit back here for a second and watch this.
just sitting there or something.
Too deep of a hole to walk out in there?
And I'm looking at logs he's going under.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it's doing, it ain't moving.
Man. Yeah, I didn't think about that. They wrap themselves up around a log and you'll never get them, will you? So unfortunately that salmon got away. He had him hooked. You know, we both saw him jump all the way out of the water. He was reeling them in and then it went back down and got underneath a log and must have released the hook or something, but then the hook was stuck on a log and I could see the log down there, but it was about 5 feet down and no sign of the salmon. So unfortunately I did not get it on film. He got away, and then 100 yards downriver, another guy snagged one and was reeling him in, and then it jumped off the hook or something. I'm bound and determined to get a fisherman hauling in a big salmon at some point today. That's my goal. So unfortunately the Logmark rest stop canoe and fishing landing wasn't anything that I even saw. I mean, when I went by it on my app, I could see like some clearing up above on the bank, but there was really nothing that I could see where you could pull out and rest. So yeah, very bizarre. And Gaia even shows that there's camping there up the trail, maybe a couple 100 yards. So yeah, I really wanted to see that, but blew right by it, and I was actually talking to some locals when we went by it. So we're pushing on. I'm not sure how far we're going to go, but we are still in Manistee National Forest, so we're going to start keeping our eyes open as I approach 20 miles. Coming up on 18 miles right now. And it is 3:30, so got plenty of time. I'd like to find camp here in the next 2 hours. How's it going, guys?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. Looks like your dog's enjoying himself.
We're having a blast, man. Watch out,
Hey,
bud.
buddy. Hey, buddy.
Good boy.
Man, that's a big salmon. Wow. I just can't believe how huge they are. And to think that I was going to be able to catch one with my little mini fishing pole, there's no way. Maybe some trout, but I haven't stopped to try that yet. Maybe tonight if I get to camp early enough. All through here in Manistee National Forest. I mean, I can see trails and little paths down to the water. It is very heavily used. Check this one out right here. I mean, it almost looks like an actual landing. Yeah, I think it is. I see like a sign up there. I wonder what that is. Some kind of river access right here. Aha, that was Maple Leaf Access Site. the locals I was paddling with back there about a mile ago told me about Maple Leaf. That was where they were getting out. So, yep, that is Maple Leaf access. So we're still deep in the middle of Manistee National Forest, but not for long. So just a minute ago, I was chatting with a couple guys that were hiking in on a trail way up on the ridge here from the Maple Leaf angler access. And he must have saw my camera in my bag, and he goes, "You camping?" I was like, "Yep." I put in at Forks Access and going all the way down to Lake Michigan for 3 nights. And he goes, "You making a YouTube video?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "I think I've seen you before." And he goes, "What's your name?" I said, "Jason West." He goes, "Yes, I watched you on the Little Manistee River." These guys were 200 feet up the ridge. I mean, I could barely see them. They picked out my camera and my gear. It was so funny. It's amazing how you run into people from time to time that watch YouTube and recognize you from YouTube videos on the rivers that they frequent. Pretty cool. It's currently 4 o'clock, 19.3 miles in, so I could stop and still be all right. I still see entry points coming from above the ridge down to the water's edge everywhere from that Maple Leaf angler's access. But the left side, that's just pure, unadulterated Manistee National Forest. No trails. There's no access of any kind over there. So if something pops up here in the next mile, I'll probably take it. But after that, I got to continue on. Another hour and a half, 2 hours to get back to public land. I'll let you know. Oh gosh, as soon as I say that, I come up on a little campsite right here. Oh man. Look at that right there. Look at this nice easy access. There's even a campfire there. Oh jeez. We're gonna stop and take a look at this. Well, first off, I like the easy access to the bank. And there's not really a spot to set my tent. I mean, it's not too bad right here. Terrible back in there. I think I'm gonna take my chances and keep going. I got another mile of the National Forest yet. Well, unfortunately, we're coming up on the final 200 or 300 yards of Manistee National Forest, and we will be entering private property. All right, I just got some good intel from these fishermen back here behind me. They actually live up here just past Wahala Bridge. So I'm gonna be back in state ground in like 2 miles. And as soon as I pass Wahala Bridge access, he said about a mile on the left, there's like a sandy peninsula with some excellent camping. He said it's by far the best camping area around here. And it's free, you know, it's not a private or a public owned campground, it's just free camping. So that's what I'm shooting for. I think I have plenty of time to make it there, unless I see something come up sooner once we get back into state land. This very moment, we just re-entered Manistee National Forest. I'm on the lookout for a campsite. It's 4:45. Wahala Bridge. Here we are, Wahala Bridge River access. The river has seemed to change a little bit here in the last half mile. Definitely a little slower, deeper, wider, not as clear. Boy, if I just had access to that spot up ahead. Oh, wait a minute. There's a house up there. What in the world? I thought we were in a state or national forest right here. I'll have to double check. So one little corner of the river dips into private property for like 100 yards. So that's what it is. Yeah, we're good to go as far as choosing a spot to camp, other than that little place right there behind me. All right, I may have found our spot. I was just admiring the way it looked up in there, and then all of a sudden, this little access point. This has to be what that guy was telling me about. Let's go check it out. I'm gonna let you guys lay eyes on this site at the same time as me. I didn't go look at it yet. I just got out of my kayak, turned the camera on, I'm taking you with me. I mean, it looks like there's a little trail here. There's gotta be a camping spot up here. Oh yes, check it out. There's our fire pit. All right. Oh, this is perfect. Man, I can set my tent up right here on the bank of the river. Might be just a little close to the fire. But there's plenty of spots around here to camp. This is like hammock hanging heaven. But I am not sleeping in my hammock tonight. I am putting up the duplex. And I think I'm gonna put it either right up here somewhere or right there by the bank. It's pretty calm out, so I don't think it'll be a problem. This is gorgeous. I mean, there's a trail that keeps on going. All right, let's set up camp. Very first thing on the agenda here at camp is get a fire going. Even though there's no mosquitoes now, I don't know if that's going to be the case all evening. So I want to get some smoke rolling here so I don't get eaten alive like I did last night. And then I'm going to start preparing some food because I am starving. It's 5:15 and I have not eaten anything since that big breakfast this morning. Well, I have eaten, but I haven't cooked anything since that big breakfast this morning. I've just been snacking in the kayak, and I can tell I'm feeling pretty weak. Oh, that was about the easiest fire I ever started. Everything's bone dry, and there's a little bit of a breeze, and it just poof, took right off. Now that that order of business is taken care of, I'm gonna sit down and take a load off. Well, I don't really need to. I've been taking a load off all day. I wanna sit down and fill my belly. Starting off with this little appetizer, white miso soup. 7 or 8 ounces. Put the little wind shroud on there. I don't like putting anything but water in my pot, but the miso soup just turns out better when you boil it. There's unlimited amounts of firewood back there. Unbelievable. I won't have a problem keeping the fire going. My white miso soup is ready. I use this little scrub pad for my pot grabber too. Sometimes the handles get hot. Something so satisfying about hot broth at the end of a long day. All right, camp is all set up. I'm currently cooking a butternut squash in the fire, and I have maple syrup to go on it that I showed you this morning. And I think tonight I'm just gonna make a freeze-dried meal. And then for dessert, I'm hoping to make something with the final peaches from our market for 2024. We'll see. I think I'll have time, but the butternut squash is definitely gonna take a little while. I'm gonna get that done. I'm gonna get the freeze-dried meal going. I'm just gonna kick back and relax and enjoy the river and about the last hour and a half of sunlight we have. I'm just gonna keep turning it and just to keep that fire going good with some coals. It'll treat it kind of just like an oven, I hope. All right, I do believe we have a boil, a roaring boil, for my Mountain House beef stroganoff with noodles. I haven't had this old standby for a long time. I have that and peak refuel, and I decided to save the peak refuel for another time. Yow! $14 ounces into the bag. Give it a little stir. Seal it up. And I'm gonna let her set for about 15 or 20 minutes. I like to let it set just a little bit longer than what it recommends, just so those little meatballs that are in there actually rehydrate and are not chewy or crunchy. This actually looks pretty good. I think beef stroganoff with noodles is one of Mountain House's better ones. Chili mac and beef is pretty good too. I've probably had this at least 50 times in my life, but it's been several years, and that's pretty good. So I've been looking at Gaia and Onyx, trying to figure out tomorrow's game plan, and it looks like I'm 7.5 miles from Custer Bridge, and then from Custer Bridge to Old US 31 in Ludington is 18 miles. So 25 miles will get me to Ludington, just a smidge before entering the lake. So once I get to Ludington and enter the lake, I think I only have 3-4 miles out to Lake Michigan. I could potentially finish this thing tomorrow. If I got on the river early, it's only 28 miles, give or take, out to Lake Michigan. That is a pretty big day though. I think the river's gonna continue to widen, deepen, the current's gonna get slower and slower. I know there's multiple channels, almost like choose your own adventure as you get into the lowlands, the marshlands, whatever they call it, as you're getting close to Ludington. My progress is going to be much slower than it was today. So, yeah, highly unlikely that I'll finish it tomorrow. But we'll see what time I get up and what time I get rolling out of here. And I'm sure we'll put at least a 20 to 25 mile day in and just have a few miles left on that final day. It does not get much better than this. If my wife was with me, or a good friend, or I actually had cell service to get online, it'd be perfect. Just going out for some more firewood. Oh man, just check out that campsite. My goodness. I'm telling you, this is definitely top 10 that I've ever had along the river. That is beautiful. All right, let's find just a little bit more firewood. Make sure we can keep this going after dark a little bit. And hopefully the winter squash, the butternut squash, will be ready here shortly. All right, it's time to pull this squash out, whether it's done or not. It's soft. The shell is giving way when I push on it, so I think it's good enough. I'm gonna set it out here, let it cool off for a while. Oh, she's charbroiled. My goodness. Yeah, I think it's good and done. It's soft everywhere, even the thick part of the neck. I don't want to get all this sticky black char on my plate. Try cutting it in half. Wow. I think I might have overcooked it a little bit. Nice. All right, I'm gonna dig the seeds out of here first. This is a really small squash. Man, I wish I should have brought a bigger one. There's just gonna be a lot of waste, you know, up against the charbroiled skin. The burnt skin, I guess I should say. Oh yeah, that is so nice and moist and cooked all the way through. Perfection. We'll get as much as we can until we start scraping the black skin underneath. Man, I'm really excited about this. Put a little butter and maple syrup on it. It's gonna be delicious, I bet. And it has a little bit of that smoky, burnt smell to it, which just adds to it, I think. I think I got it scraped pretty clean. Not much left down there that's edible. That's a nice serving size, I think. All right, now let's go add the good stuff, butter and syrup. I'm not gonna use a whole lot of butter. because I want to save this half stick right here for cooking my crescent roll dough to make peach pie hot pockets tomorrow. Okay, we're gonna stir that butter up in there. It's still hot enough to melt it. And now for the best part. Homemade maple syrup from Wishwell Farms. My brother Joel taps about 1,000 trees on our farm, and he has a reverse osmosis system to eliminate a lot of the boiling time to make the syrup. I think almost 70% of the water is removed from the sap, and then it's boiled into the sweet, sugary, delicious goodness that we all know and love. And it takes like 40 to 45 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of syrup. He makes about 400 to 500 gallons of syrup, finished product, every year. That's tens of thousands and thousands of gallons of sap. I have a video on that. I will try to remember to link it down below in the description if you're interested in seeing how we make our maple syrup on our farm. All right, enough jibber jabber. Let's eat. I'm loading it on there. I'm not going sparingly on the syrup. All right, here we go. Excellent. Darn mosquitoes landing on me. They're starting to come out. I'm gonna finish this, rinse this plate off, and I'm gonna get inside my tent. This was a real winner right here. I'm definitely gonna be bringing a winter squash with me from now on every fall kayaking trip. Well, overall, it was a great day on the river. I made 23.3 miles, I believe. So I'm 38 miles in out of 66, so I have 28 miles left to Lake Michigan. I'm not gonna try to conquer all that in one day, but I probably will go at least 20 to 25. I wanna get pretty close to Pere Marquette Lake tomorrow. But everything went smooth today, didn't have any issues. There was a lot of fishermen again for about a 5-mile stretch of private property. Not too many kayakers out today, so I had the river to myself for the most part. And tomorrow's Monday, so I'm guessing I'll even see fewer fishermen along the way. So looking forward to another great day on the river. The weather is going to be absolutely perfect again. So I'm hoping to get on the river a little earlier tomorrow. Today I didn't get on the water till 9:30 because I was cooking a lot of breakfast. But tomorrow I'm just making a freeze-dried meal for breakfast, and I have an apple, and I'm hoping to be on the water by 8 a.m., give or take. And yeah, I have no complaints. It's been a blast up here so far. Every time I come to Michigan, it is a pure Michigan adventure. I love Michigan water. Alrighty guys, I'm gonna crawl into my tent after enjoying this fire for a few more minutes and hit the sack. I'll see you in the morning. Good night. Good morning. It's gonna be another beautiful day here on the Pere Marquette. It's 7 a.m. Just enjoying my fire, getting ready to have my coffee. I didn't even have to light this fire this morning. There were still some embers left over from last night, so just blew on it a little bit and she took right off. Hoping to get on the river here in less than an hour and make some good miles today towards Lake Michigan. Man, that is pretty. That's almost Bob Ross worthy right there. It's a little after 7 a.m. Just heating up some water for my Mountain House breakfast skillet. I have some better ones. I have some Peak Refuel stroganoff and breakfast skillet, but I'm going to save those for a backpacking trip. Just because I'm not expending lots and lots of calories on this trip. I'm sitting on my butt all day. Yeah, I'm paddling, but the river is doing most of the work for me. I'm just steering and paddling a little bit through the slower sections. Well, man, I'm noticing some leaf color change out there. Man, if I was just here another week or two later, I bet it would be gorgeous. I can see the tips of some of the treetops changing colors over there. Well, as soon as I finish my coffee, the least favorite part of my morning, packing up camp. The tent's empty, just gotta fold it up and put it away. And it's like a little gear explosion down there. More so on a kayak camping trip versus a backpacking trip. A backpacking trip, I keep everything as simplified as possible. Very few parts, very few pieces, light, quick, and easy. But I splurge a little bit on a kayak camping trip just because it's more room. There's more room to bring extra weight, extra food, extra gear, extra batteries, extra lights, you know, all kinds of stuff. Man, this is peaceful. It's hard to believe this is going to be my last big day on the water already. I'll still have a part of a day tomorrow. It's going to go quick. Morning. How far are you guys going to drift today?
All the way to Custer.
Okay.
Yep. This is one of the coolest spots.
This is fantastic.
Did you know about this?
A local told me that lives just up here on the right. He was out doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And he told me about this spot, and I'm glad he did because this was killer location.
Yeah, the guy with a beard kind of about your size, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he lives in a greenhouse down here to the right.
Yeah, that's Jeff.
Have a good one. All right, here we go. Day 3 on the Pere Marquette. Very peaceful out here this morning. Even though the river is wider and slower, deeper, still very beautiful. Man, it's a good thing that I found that campsite, or was told about that campsite, because there has been nowhere to camp. I'm 1 mile right now. Absolutely nowhere. So yeah, that worked out great. A totally different look and feel today. It's like all these lowlands, marshland, whatever you want to call them. Most Michigan rivers tend to look this way in the final few miles before entering a lake, before entering Lake Michigan. But this one's happening 20 miles upriver. I wonder if it's going to be like this all the way down. I can only imagine how beautiful this would look right here during peak leaf color. Every now and then you get these little skinnier passages where the water's kind of funneled through a little quicker. Pretty nice. I'm noticing a lot of oxbows, kind of like choose your own adventure. And I've already chosen wrong once. So definitely got to be on my toes and look at my apps when I'm not sure which direction to go. This is South Reek Road. It does not reek, but it is very low. I might have to take my camera off to get underneath this. This is tight. I think we can make it. Oh, barely. Oh, my goodness. I mean, I literally missed hitting that bridge by an inch. Whew. I guess that's one plus for the water being low. Indian Bridge. Next landing. I was just talking to a fellow back there about a half mile that was in a regular motorboat. It looked like a motorboat. And I asked him, are you able to get all the way up here from the lake? And he said yes, but he didn't come from that far away. And speaking of motorboats, here comes another one. But I was like, how are you getting up here without hitting bottom? And he says it's a jet drive. So I guess I wasn't familiar with jet drive outboard motors on boats. Pretty interesting. I didn't realize they didn't have propellers. So that's how they're able to navigate through these rivers. And speaking of jet drive, there's one right in front of us. Haven't seen this until today. Usually it's just drift boats. It's getting warm. Custer Bridge River access. Finally, some peace and quiet again. I kid you not, I've passed about 30 fishing boats with 2 to 4 fishermen on each one since Custer Landing. This is Riverside Park Campground. Looks pretty busy. A lot of boaters pulled up on the shore over there. A half mile up the road to the right is Scottsville. There's restaurants and gas stations up there. I actually thought about walking the half mile, but I don't think I really feel like walking a half mile. Well, it's gonna be a mile there and back in Crocs. Very nice sights right on the water. Well, I think I'm gonna take out here for a few minutes. Stretch my legs, see if they have a restroom. Wow, this is a busy place. I'm ready to get back on the water. We're only 16 miles away from Lake Michigan, but I just want to get out of here, back into some peace and quiet. And that campground across the way, it is jam-packed. Boats everywhere. This is the narrowest channel in quite some time. It's been wide open, fully exposed to the sun. I'm getting burnt to a crisp. This is different. Just a high sandy bluff with no trees. Absolute peace and quiet once again. Other than a bird and some crickets, it's dead silent. My pace has definitely slowed. You know, I was easily able to stay a little quicker than 20-minute miles, 3 miles an hour. I'm doing about 24-minute miles now. I'm getting scorched out here. I didn't bring any kind of sun protection other than, my hat and shirt. So I try to skirt the river left under the shade trees from time to time. That seems to help. I don't think I'm getting burnt yet, but it's just so hot. It feels almost like it's 90 out, even though I know it's only probably 80. It's just kind of stagnant out here. I got a lot of private property ahead of me on both sides for at least the next 10 miles, I think. So there's not state land again until I am almost a Pere Marquette Lake, and a lot of that's gonna be marshland. So camping might be difficult tonight. So about a half mile back, there was a split in the river, and there's this, it's like a giant oxbow, and I'm not talking like a half mile oxbow, I'm talking miles and miles. So once you pick a direction, you're pretty much stuck with it, committed to it. I went left, and after I was into it about 200 or 300 yards, I remembered talking to a fisherman that said stay right. I think he was right because I've already went through 2 spots where boats could not have passed through. I mean, it still seems like a decent flowing river, so I think it's fine for kayaking. It's just these drift boats, and well, down here it hasn't been drift boats. They've been regular full-on fishing boats, just with jet motors. Most of them. I've seen a few with props. I don't think they could have got through this section, but I hope I can get around. I'm gonna be screwed. It's gonna set me back hours if I have to turn around at some point and go back, because this land across here, it's not like it's a couple hundred yards. It's probably a mile to the other side of this oxbo. All right, let's see how it goes. I'm enjoying these little tidbits of shade I get from time to time. So there were 2 massive oxbows And this is a little connector that I'm on right now. I think it's only about a quarter mile to get me back up to the main river. That's a pretty cool old bridge. Exiting the connector between the two oxbows and back onto the main river. You know, I'm glad I took the wrong direction. That was kind of fun. It was really quiet. It was more remote. I mean, not that this isn't remote. There's not like there's anything developed out here. It just, there was more natural debris that had fallen in the way that I had to navigate around. Tons of ducks and turtles, deer. Yeah, it was just, I could tell that I was off the beaten path. Now we're back on this main drag here. It's gonna get massive as we approach Pere Marquette Lake and Lake Michigan. But it's still a ways ahead. I bet we still have darn near 10 miles to go. You know, even though this water has been slower and cloudier, not as crystal clear as it was upstream, it's still very beautiful. I've enjoyed all of it, except all the boats. But I haven't seen a boat for almost an hour. It's been awesome. Feels good to get out of the kayak for a few minutes. Stretch my sore butt. This is the first little sandy beach I've seen all day. It's pretty nice. If there was firewood here, I'd probably camp right here. We're getting close to exiting this private land area. Just a few more miles, I think. And then I'll be in a little section of, well, there's a couple sections of Michigan state ground all the way to Pere Marquette Lake. The problem is, it's real close to US 31. And I can hear the roar of semis off in the distance already. So it's not going to be a very restful night if that's where I choose to camp. Just made my mileage minimum, 20 miles. I'm pretty sure I only got like 2 or 3 to US 31. So hopefully I can find camp before reaching that. But if I do have to go beyond that, there is still Michigan state land after that. For maybe a mile, maybe only a half mile, and then you're back into private property again, and then you enter Pere Marquette Lake. That would not be good. By that time, I'm just gonna have to paddle all the way across and finish. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. US 31, straight ahead, less than 100 yards. This is not how I wanted the day to end up, but it is what it is. There ain't no stopping right here. It is horrifically noisy. We just happen to have a little lull in the traffic right now. All right, we're gonna continue on and see what we can see. I definitely don't want to hear that all night. Check out this little spot. You know, if I could find someone that's home or at their property and they were out on the side of the river, I would go over to them and offer them $20 to camp on their yard. But, you know, even though no one's there, I wouldn't do that without permission. US 31's about a quarter mile behind me. I got about a half mile of Michigan state land here in front of me. So I'm looking hard again, but the banks are pretty burly. It's not looking very promising. Check this out. This is on the last turn of the Michigan state ground. A little sandy beach and a little spot of short grass. I might have to get out and look at this. The main problem with this is that there's no firewood. And I want to cook my my peach crescent roll hot pocket dessert, whatever you want to call it, tonight. I mean, I'm sure there's firewood in there. If I walk through 4-foot grass, that doesn't look good. I'm at least gonna get out and look at this. Nope, it didn't work. That grass right there was too spongy. I was sinking like 3 or 4 inches in it. It would have worked in a pinch if it was like getting dark on me and I wouldn't have a fire. But we're gonna keep on rolling, paddling. All right, right here where this down tree is is the end of, man, the fish just jumped right there, like 3 foot high. I just missed it on camera. Unless I stay right here and pull my kayak up right there where those dead trees are up in the bank. Oh, I'm back on private property for about at least a mile, maybe 2. That looks terrible. Thick 3 and 4 foot high weeds and grass up there. All right, paddling on to the next state land, a mile or 2 downriver. All right, the river splits right here. By the way, I'm back in Michigan State. It's Michigan game lands right here in front of me. But the main part of the river goes right. But you see that tree line over there? I'm assuming that's on the right side of the river. That's all private property. So it's only state property on the left side if I go that way. And if I go this way, it's state land on both sides. So I'm looking ahead at those hardwoods up ahead and hoping I can find something up there before getting to Pere Marquette Lake. So here's the current situation. If you look on either side of me, it is thick, impenetrable grasses and cattails and whatnot. It's going to be impossible to find a campsite in this. It's not going to work. So I'm only a mile or 2 away from going underneath Pere Marquette Highway. I think that's what it's called. And then right after I go underneath that, there's a river access, like a put-in site. I might stop and look at that to see if there's anywhere to set up a stealth camp. And then right past that is Suttons Landing Park. It's a park with picnic tables, restrooms, some hiking trails. They have a pavilion you can rent out for groups. So maybe I can make something work there. I know this is not going to be legal camping tonight, but I'm coming down to the wire here and running out of options. So I'm going to have to make something work there because I'm looking around me and there ain't nothing that's going to work out here, unfortunately. This is horrible. I got a headwind and I swear the current is non-existent. If anything, it's flowing against me. Oh my gosh. This is why I hate lakes. This is no different than paddling in a lake. I am so ready for dry land. Reminds me of the Red Bridge on the Big Manistee. Well, this is a really nice place. There's the pavilion that you can rent. And bathrooms are open from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Some nice picnic tables in the shade there. A really nice dock down here. Or a boardwalk. The problem is, I don't see any trails going into the woods. This ain't gonna work. I'm striking out again. Well, I'm totally out of options. So I was looking around on Google Maps and I found a campground up ahead called Buttersville Campground. The problem is, it's not right on Pere Marquette Lake. It's more so on Lake Michigan. So I'm gonna get as close as I can to it and then have to walk the road to it, I guess. I don't know. That's my only option I got. Wow, I can't believe how hard this is to find a place to camp. I had no idea this was gonna happen to me. I thought for sure I would have found a place on that state ground somewhere. And to make matters worse, now it is 5:30, I'm starving. I almost decided to cook back there, but that would just put me behind in a half hour. So, I still got lots of daylight. It's 5:30. I still got 2.5 hours of daylight, so we'll be all right. I just wish I was at camp now. So that is plan C, D, E. I don't know what plan we're on now, but we're gonna make something work. All right, here you go, folks. Officially in Pere Marquette Lake. I think I see a couple of swans in front of me. Or are those just Canadian geese? I'm sorry about the sun glare. We're heading due west. Sun's going down. I might just have to paddle this whole lake and finish this up tonight. I don't know. It is possible. I'm only like 2 or 3 miles from my truck. Man, this is a workout. I'm 26 miles in, and this is not what I expected to be doing at 6 p.m. It's really serene and pretty if it wasn't for this noisy plant over here. And there's a lot of grass out here. I've been trying to navigate my way around most of it. It slows you down when you go through that. All right, onward to the west. Things are going good. I'm about halfway across this big lake. Another mile and a half, and I should be getting real close to Lake Michigan. We're just gonna go ahead and finish this up. Not how I had planned, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Oh my goodness. So close, but so far. These darn lakes at the end of rivers, man. Isn't there a river that just flows right into Lake Michigan? Like the Edisto, flows right into the Atlantic Ocean. Oh well, we're getting there. We're making progress. I was just thinking back, you know, should I have slowed down and taken advantage of some of the camping areas I saw? But, you know, the way it worked out because of the time that I started, you know, midday, I don't think it would have worked out. There was not very many camping options along the Pere Marquette, so I don't think it's conducive to through paddling, that's for sure. But that doesn't bother me. When I drive 5 or 6 hours to experience a river, I want to experience the whole river if possible. That's why I do this. If you have watched all the way to this far in the video, don't click off yet. I'm so close to the finish. If you're waiting to see some drone footage, it's coming. I've been wanting to fly it several times, but there just hasn't been a good place to take off. And even if I had been able to take it off, I'm always worried about bringing it back down because there's no little sandy spits or anything to pull my kayak off and, you know, land it or grab it. And I've learned the hard way that it's not a good idea to try to grab a drone while you're in a moving kayak on a river. I have lost on that way. So that's why I have not flown it, but I intend to fly it out here as I exit into Lake Michigan and paddling back towards the beach. So stay tuned. I've been eyeballing this grain bin house right directly in front of you. We're gonna go get close to that and check it out as we make our way out of this lake. That's a pretty cool grain bin house. I've never seen a 3-story house inside a grain bin. So they built it up on top of a concrete foundation, so it has a basement. And then 2 floors above it. So that is 3 stories in that small grain bin. That's only like I don't even know if that's a 20,000 bushel grain bin. It's not very big. But 2 decks or 2 porches overlooking the Pere Marquette Lake. Gorgeous. I wonder if there's gonna be a lighthouse out here. I can't remember when I checked last. Oh, yes, there is. I see one. I was hoping to get out here before the sun was so far in the west, but nothing I can do about that now. Maybe that'll help light up the beach well for the drone. We're gonna go on out past Ludington Harbor into Lake Michigan proper. Just out there where those boats are in front of me and the lighthouse. Looks like there's people out there. It looks like you can walk all the way out to the lighthouse. That's pretty cool. Yeah, there's people walking all the way. Just about there. It's pretty exciting. This is always the most exciting part of the trip other than the beginning. As I'm looking at this lighthouse up here, it looks like it has pretty high, steep walls. I hope I'm able to find a place to take the drone off. I guess I could take it off out of my kayak if need be. We'll see. Just a couple hundred yards to go. You know, it never dawned on me that I should turn around and see what it looks like behind me. Oh wow, look at all those bluffs over there. I didn't even see those. Almost looks like a Sleeping Bear Dunes area. There you go, there's a quick 360 of the harbor. Ludington Harbor. This is called the Ludington North Breakwater Light. All right, there it is, open water. Open water of Lake Michigan. Let's turn around and get a look at this lighthouse. Ludington North Breakwater Lighthouse. Cool. Check out this tanker coming in right behind me. Wow. Trying to do this and paddle and fly the drone all at the same time. A little difficult. Well, there's the beach and the end of my through paddle. Alrighty folks, that's going to conclude my 66-mile Pere Marquette River through paddle. What an incredible journey. Didn't always go exactly how I had planned or expected, but I still had a great adventure. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Thank you so much for coming along, and I will see you all again real soon on my next outdoor adventure. So long. Robert over at River Run Canoe Livery will treat you right. There she is, safe and sound. All right, so I'm going to attempt to make these peach Hot Pockets finally. Since I didn't get a third night on the river, I decided to do it here as a breakfast. I'm trying to talk a little bit quiet because I got campers around me. I don't want to disturb everybody. All right, I want to get this all mashed up. All right, let's see what we can do with this. Set that right there for now. Peach slurry. Adding some cornstarch. Pour it on there and eat it with a spoon and knife. Man, that really looks good though. Maybe I made a little too much filling. My goodness, I think that's more like enough for two. Yeah. It's always fun experimenting, even though this isn't the first time I've ever tried something like this. It's the first time I've ever done it with peaches. So I'm glad I got to do it with the final peaches of 2024. That ended up being about the right amount of filling too. I thought it was too much, but it wasn't. It was just right.